What's up, everybody? We've got another draft review. We have season 4 of the LC. Nope, it's the PAA. We've rebranded to the Plasma Ability Academy, I think. So this is the Almost Any Ability Singles League. We are going at it again. Pretty much the same tier list as last season. Probably a couple moves up and down. I know they we repriced some Expanding Force mons because last season they were greatly overpriced, so now they're back down to where they should be. And we did unban Keldeo. So, you know, I had another video where I talked about how much I wanted to draft that for my first pick. I was gushing about it. Oh, it's so good. Oh, slap choice specs, tinted lens on it, and nothing lives a hit. And I was so ready to pick Keldeo. It gets flip turn. Holy shit, it's the perfect offensive mon. And then Sly picked it before me. So, that video, forget about it. We're not getting Keldeo this season. I'm not sure if we're ever going to get Keldeo because holy shit, that mon's amazing. So my next pick was going to be Mew because that seems fun, a lot of possibilities with it. Person before me picked Mew. So to start off the draft, I was already at a loss. There was nothing else that I wanted to use. There wasn't the only other top tiers left that sounded fun were like I didn't even know. I wasn't sure what I wanted because I could see positives and negatives to all of them. I didn't want to be responsible for what I picked and if I started my draft off good or not. So I did what anybody would do, and I asked my wife what I should pick. So she picked her favorite Pokemon, who also happens to be great in almost any ability. It's Gengar. Love Gengar. Who doesn't love Gengar? And he has some pretty meaty stats to back it up. 130 special attack, which is already higher than anything I had in my team last season. So off to a good start there. 110 speed is super duper speedy. We got a lot of these useful moves, but Gengar's really good in almost any ability for a couple reasons. One of which I already mentioned was those super good moves. Gengar is a Gen 1 mon, which is a beneficiary of Gen 1 syndrome, and by that I mean it has 26 years of moves that it can use. Gen 8 mons are pretty notorious for having sucky movesets, and a lot of that is just the fact they've only been around for really one game. But Gengar has been around literally forever, so it's had plenty of games and plenty of appearances to get weird moves from events, tons of move tutors to learn moves from. It's been in every game, so it's always transferable, even its Sword and Shield. So it has a ton of stuff to work with, and that makes it incredibly hard to plan against and incredibly annoying to play around. Common sets are No Guard, because Gengar gets Hypnosis with and Zap Cannon too. I think that's like a Gen 2 move maybe. And having both of those means, okay, you're either going to sleep them on and then paralyze their switching while dealing damage off a 120 base power move. So pretty good deal right there. And from there you can start spamming Hex against the rest of the team. Will-O-Wisp anything else that switches in. It's incredibly annoying. Thank God I've never had to play against anybody using Gengar like that. I think I've only played against Gengar once, and I managed to get it on the first turn. I've also played against Gengar. Well, I remember there was another team that had Gengar on it, but I think they ended up forfeiting or something like that, where I didn't actually have to face it, or maybe they didn't bring it or something like that. Either way, it's going to be a lot of fun to use. Even just beyond the No Guard set, obviously this is a prime Sheer Force candidate. Shadow Ball, Sludge Wave, yes please. There's not a lot of things that resist both of those. Ghost is such a good attacking type, and Poison is obviously pretty bad, but pretty damn powerful coming off of Gengar's 130 special attack. And that's just the tip of the iceberg, honestly. We had a ban normalized specifically for Gengar because last season somebody used Mean Look Skill Swap normalized Gengar, boosted up to +6 with Nasty Plot, and then tore through the rest of the team. It was incredible. It was a sight to be seen. And honestly, I wish I could do that. I was trying to think of ways to do something similar like that, but I don't quite think it's in the cards. But either way, Gengar is going to be a lot of fun. Super flexible, fast, strong, gets the job done. Is incredibly weak to Pursuit. I'm saying that now so I remember it, because this is absolutely a mon I'm going to lose to a Pursuit trap at least once during the season and then be mad at myself because, fuck, I forgot about Pursuit. So, I don't know. Maybe if I say it now, I will not forget. So from here, I decided I wanted a mon that could take advantage of some of the things that Gengar has to offer, some of the types that it can break through, and some of the speed control it can provide with paralysis spreading everywhere. And I decided to pick another monstrous offensive threat that I've never been able to use before, and I was surprised it came back to me, and that is Heatran. So Heatran is an incredible mon, just straight off the bat is incredible, and it's even better in almost any ability. Flash Fire is a decent ability, but why run Flash Fire when you could run Desolate Land? No more water weakness, just straight up blasting things with Eruption. It's absolutely crazy what Heatran can accomplish. So, really looking forward to using this mon. Desolate Land is obvious, like big flashing light. Like you have to prep for this, otherwise you're gonna lose. Also a great user of Magic Guard. Like from what if you followed any of the off season, I tore through a lot of teams with Magic Guard Dialga with just Life Orb and Steel Beam. And guess what? Heatran's Steel type. It can do the same thing. Slightly weaker, slightly slower, but honestly, Fire Steel is a better type than Dragon Steel. So there's that going for it. Obviously, it is less bulky than Dialga too. So it's not as good as Dialga. What are you gonna do? Not many things are as good as Dialga, but Heatran is damn good for what it does. I think it was less expensive than Gengar, which is kind of crazy. I think Gengar was 19, Heatran was 18 points maybe. Gives me a good rocker. Taunt is nice. Roar is really important. This thing could honestly even run unaware if I wanted it to. It's got the bulk to live pretty much any unboosted hit, unless it's ground type. So yeah, that was my first other pick. Let's go ahead and see what I picked next. I cannot remember. Oh, so another mon that I wanted was Landorus Therian. Pairs incredibly well with Heatran defensively, but of course, Sly picked Landorus Therian as well. So I went with the poor man's Landorus, just regular Landorus, who honestly maybe even better than Lando T because it's 10 points faster. Obviously 20 points weaker in attack, but 10 points faster. That's a tough trade-off, but I would probably pick the speed most times. It's coming from somebody who's used Lando T. That thing pretty much always needs a Scarf. But this thing, 101 speed is such a little trolly speed tier. Outspeeds base 100s like Jirachi, and that just makes life a whole lot easier. So Lando, why do these two pair so well together? Well, let's look at the type chart. Double water weakness. Ooh, that's kind of bad. Too bad there's like 2 abilities that make you immune to water type, or 3 abilities that make you immune to water type moves. So that's just incredible, honestly. So that right there neutralizes one of those. Quad ice weakness, quad resistance, fighting weakness, fighting resistance, ground weakness, immunity. It's crazy. These two have such good defensive synergy as long as we have some way on the team to help out with water attacks. Landorus is obviously a super potent offensive mon. I proved that in the offseason where it was taking down teams of Ubers. I proved it Season 2 with Landorus Therian. Same moveset, basically the same mon, just one's slower and stronger, one's faster and slightly weaker. And in most cases, faster and slightly weaker is a benefit you want to make. I mean, when you compare Tornadus to Tornadus Therian, Therian's weaker, it's faster, you pick Therian every time. So, when the ability doesn't quite matter as much, I think these two, Lando and Lando T, are they're honestly probably about even. I don't really think there's a clear winner here, but it does work out better for my speed tiers to pick the regular one, so I think it's probably a blessing in disguise that I got this. And also, something that I noticed, a lot of the times people can run Landorus Therian as a bulky pivot kind of thing, right? Landorus has the exact same defensive stats. I thought Lando T got more in defenses, but no, it just drops the special attack and speed and puts it right in attack. You keep the 89, 90, 80, which is obviously not the best. It's no Heatran, but it's definitely good enough. And ground flying is such an absurd typing, it gets the job done. So, really glad I got one of the ground flying types. It's not Gliscor, because Gliscor is only good because it has Poison Heal. So, up next, I wanted to get a strong, another defensive piece that can also function in a couple different ways. So, I picked Komo-O, who's a mon I've been looking at for the last couple seasons. But I think this is finally the time for it to shine, because we got that nasty 4x fairy weakness, but ding ding ding, Heatran comes in, we got a quad resistance, everybody. So this is kind of the story of quad resistances and quad weaknesses. So Heatran is super big defensively to help with these two. So why is Komo-O great? Well, look at the stats. 600 BST alongside 2 of these other mons, so pretty good, way above average. And it's another mon that has pretty shit abilities. Bulletproof, soundproof, overcoat, they're all okay, but none of them you're not gonna wish, oh, wish my mon had bulletproof. Oh, it'd be top tier if it had bulletproof. But that nobody says or thinks like that. And if they do, something's wrong with them. But when you can run something good on Komo-O, like I don't know, maybe Unburdened Belly Drum. It does get Belly Drum. Maybe Desolate, or not Desolate Land, Dauntless Shield with a meaty 125 defense and stab body press, the strongest Dauntless Shield in the game, or strongest body press in the game. That's obviously an enticing option. You can also run, I think the only thing is you can't run the Omni boosting move because that's kind of crazy. But you can still run Boom Burst with special attack. Give it a Fairy type Boom Burst, give it Electric type Boom Burst, and it starts ripping through its counters. There's lots and lots of stuff that Como can do. Hell, it can even run Triage with Drain Punch. That's awesome. It's so versatile. Only thing you gotta do is just keep it safe from fairies, and I have 2 good ways to keep it safe from fairies already. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to Como. I think it's time to shine. Nice defensive stats, good synergy with the rest of the team. Obviously, that ice weakness kind of hurts, but we have ways of resisting ice. It's not an insurmountable obstacle. So up next, I picked another Mon that I've kind of wanted to use. I had a plan with these two. I wanted to pick Greninja and then Cinderace to get double Protean, but didn't work out, so I just got regular Greninja, who's also just pretty good by itself, even without Protean. Can run lots of different things with Greninja. Primordial Sea is obviously a big draw, but Protean is just so good, honestly. It's faster than Cinderace. It has a better move pool than Cinderace. I think it can run mixed, which is something Cinderace cannot do. It wishes it could. Like, imagine if Cinderace could actually use Electro Ball. That'd be sick. But Greninja can. It has the perfect move pool to hit pretty much everything in the game super effectively, and in any given week, it can probably hit everything on your team for super effective damage. The 122 speed tier is very, very important. It's like Cinderace is just under 120. This thing is just over it, so it outspeeds quite a bit more than Cinderace does in the grand scheme of things. And its typing and move pool is just so good. It does have the Greninja is not really ever going to be used defensively, but it does have that nice dark typing on switch in always. So even if I change my type later, I can switch into your Expanding Force. And even better if it's like a Scarf Expanding Force. That's the perfect time for Greninja to come in and then start hitting you, or maybe even turn into a bug type and you turn out on the switch. So love that ability. It's pretty much just like Cinderace, but I think it's even better. My next Mon that I picked, what was it? It was another big chunker, a big strong Mon. It is Heatran. I've never used Heatran ever. It's kind of like a Trick Room version of Tapu Lele. 136 special attack is huge, pretty bulky. Just pump it on to HP and special attack and you're ready to go. Has pretty good abilities right off the bat, so not as much of a improvement. But I mean, you can give this thing that's like the big draw, right? You give this thing Triage. It's going faster than everything with 136 stab, Draining Kisses, boost up with Calm Mind, and drain them to death before they even knew what hit them. Get some cool utility moves too, like Nuzzle. Don't know why it learns Nuzzle. Magic Powder. Couldn't tell you. Never seen it used before, but it learns it. I think it's actually its signature move too. But it can also, even if it wants to, if I can just set up Trick Room and myself, and then just go for Expanding Force spam like in doubles, and just do even more damage because it's not reduced by the spread move calculation thing. So Heatran's really good fairy type, works out well with the rest of my team. I do end up with a net ghost weakness, but I have one of the best ghost types myself, so not too worried about that. When we face Dragapult, we will we'll have to figure it out, because that might be a bit of an issue. But so far, everything else is looking pretty nice. My next pick, I was pretty much almost out of points. These are all very expensive Mons. So I was looking through the tiers, and I found something that I thought was a pretty nice steal for a low tier defensive Mon. And it's a shock to me that this thing has ever been drafted before. Gourgeist. You can use any of the 4 forms. Super is typically the best, because if you're going to be using it defensively, you want that extra HP, you want that extra attack, you don't really care about the speed. But I mean, I could go to I could drop down to a large if I really need to outspeed something. I could go to regular, or hell, I could even do tiny to go, I think tiny's like base 100 speed, right? How fast is little Gourgeist? Gourgeist small. Yeah, Gourgeist small is base 99. That's crazy. So, gotta look out for that too, I guess. What's its attack? 85. That's not as good, but still, that's something to think about. So what does Gourgeist do? It takes physical hits, and it takes them pretty well. 85 122 is actually super physically bulky. That's actually better. I didn't even realize that till right now. That's better physical bulk than Como has, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. Pair that with Leech Seed, and that's an annoying Mon to take down. Ghost is also a better type to spam than fighting or dragon. So I mean, bring this thing in, sit it against some kind of thing that can't really get through it. Just start poltergeisting, learn what items they have, do a lot of damage in the meantime. Put leech seed on them, make sure they don't get any poison heal, make sure you keep gaining back your health every turn. You can even run synthesis with this thing, run toxic, will-o-wisp. If you really want to be annoying, put leech life, protect, and then shadow force on it, so you only get to attack you 1 in 3 turns, and that sounds evil. I'm gonna have to do that. Yeah, Gourgeist is gonna be a lot of fun to use. I'm really looking forward to it. I guess also it does have Grassy Glide, so I don't know, if your team's weak to grass, look out for Choice Band Gourgeist coming at you before you can even move. Last mon here that's like actually good is your boy Blastoise. Something I was looking at drafting like the last 3 seasons in a row, but someone always got it before me. Blastoise is again a nice recipient of Genwun syndrome, has a ton of moves, can do pretty much everything. It's a I'm actually kind of lacking for hazard removal. I only have Defog and Rapid Spin here from these two, but Blastoise is essentially the perfect pivot. Going to be running Regenerator 90% of the time. Come in, take a hit, flip turn out, get me the advantage. Kind of like a budget Swampert, but with a lot more moves and hazard removal than Swampert does. Obviously slightly worse type, but at least you don't have the 4x weakness. Because running Sap Zipper on Swampert really, really sucks, but Blastoise can absolutely take a hit if it needs to, whereas Swampert crumples to a grass move. But I really like Blastoise. Like I said, some nice moves that Swampert doesn't get. Haze, Swampert would kill for that. Rapid Spin, incredible. There's others here that aren't listed, but yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a nice mod. I think it's going to put in a lot of work. It's a good special parallel to Gourgeist. Gourgeist is my physical wall. Blastoise could be my special, but it does have that nice pivoting ability. So, you know what? Also, something I haven't mentioned. It's this thing learns Shell Smash and it's legal. So maybe I just roll in with Unburdened Shell Smash, go faster than everything, kill everything in one hit. Sounds like a winning strategy to me. So we will have to see. I think Blastoise is going to have a big season. So with this, I had 2 points left. So I had to pick 2 1-point mons, both of which I'll kind of cover in one go. I picked Illumise and what's that thing called? Morlul. So these are both 2 kind of shitty mons, both very weak. I don't know if I'll ever bring them, but they're both good prankster bait, right? Spore, prankster Spore. If I do bring this and you don't have a way around it, you're kind of SOL. This thing is better than Fungus because it gets the Strength Sap, so it can heal pretty well while lowering your offensive output and putting you to sleep. Illumise gets U-Turn, Defog, Wish, Aromatherapy. So maybe I'll bring each of them maybe once if I need it, but they're both kind of the same thing, just a 1-point Spore throw, or a 1-point Prankster throwaway. Spore with Morlul, Wish, and Aromatherapy with Illumise. I will say, don't sleep on Illumise. I've used this thing in VGC. It is bulkier than you think it is, and it can survive 1 hit. And then, if it survives 1 hit, that's 2 free prankster moves, and you can be putting a lot of hurt from 2 prankster moves. Maybe a Thunder Wave into a Wish, a Thunder Wave into an Aromatherapy into a Wish. You got a lot to look out for these 2. So, yeah, that is the squad. Typing wise, let's take out these 2 because they're not really part of the core 8. Or I guess, what is that? Core 8? Yeah, core 8. We do have a net flying weakness, which might be bad. There's quite a bit of flying spam in AAA. Ghosts is also a net weakness here, but like I said, I have one of the ghosts you want to look out for, so that definitely lessens the impact of it. Dragapult is the other big ghost you want to be aware of, but Heatran might be able to take care of that by itself. If not, I have other ways around that. So that's the team. Looking forward to using it. Definitely not the team I imagined coming out of this draft with, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm really looking forward to using it. I think I play my first game later today, actually, so maybe it'll be a double, or I have another video, like a triple or quadruple upload day today. Who knows? So that is the team for this season. If I make any moves, it'll probably be... Well, I won't spoil what I might move around. We'll have to see that when we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. How's that sound? So that's the squad. We'll see how it works in some battles. Later.